Hi, this is Cheating Wife. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this story. Your support motivates me to share even more real stories from our life. And don't forget to leave a comment. I'll be really happy to read your thoughts. I never thought that standing at my friend's wedding would make me feel so conflicted, so torn between loyalty, resentment, and the gnawing realization that maybe the friendship I valued so deeply was never as equal as I believed. You might think this story is about food, about something as small as a plate at a wedding, but trust me, it isn't. It's about trust, about respect, and about how sometimes you only truly understand your worth to someone when they show you, in the most subtle and humiliating ways, exactly where you stand. When I sat down at that reception table, staring at the plate of fruit in front of me while everyone else enjoyed lavish meals, it hit me like a punch in the gut. That was the moment the mask fell. The moment the years of effort and loyalty I'd given her suddenly felt meaningless. But let me start from the beginning, because this ending didn't happen overnight. It built up, piece by piece, until the only thing left was disappointment. My name is Emily, I'm 25, and for the last 2 years I've called Sarah my closest friend. She's 26, and when we first met at a mutual friend's party, she had this magnetic energy about her. She was the kind of person who could walk into a room and make everyone laugh, who seemed to glow under the spotlight. I liked her instantly. She had a way of pulling people into her orbit, and honestly, I wanted to be a part of it. We bonded quickly, and in the span of months, I found myself included in her inner circle. She'd call me late at night to talk about her insecurities, her relationship with her fiancé Daniel, and her endless Pinterest board of wedding dreams. So when she asked me to be a bridesmaid, I said yes without hesitation. It felt like an honor, like a seal of approval on our friendship. The first big event was her bachelorette. I'll be honest with you, it was expensive. Her maid of honor, Julia, decided on a destination trip, a full-blown getaway with airfare, hotel, excursions, and the unspoken rule that everything, absolutely everything, would be covered for Sarah. We each ended up spending over $1,500. I drained my savings, skipped nights out with other friends, and justified it all by telling myself, it's for Sarah, it's for my best friend. But something small stuck with me after that trip. We paid for every single thing she did: her flight, her hotel, her food, her drinks, even the overpriced souvenirs she picked out. She didn't put down a single dollar. And when it was all over, when we got home, there wasn't even a thank you text. I brushed it off. I told myself she was probably overwhelmed. I told myself she didn't mean anything by it. Then came the bridal shower. I bought her a beautiful gift, spent hours choosing it. I bought the dress she wanted all her bridesmaids to wear. I paid for the day of makeup and the heels she insisted we all wear so the pictures would look cohesive. Every time I opened my wallet, I reminded myself, this is what friendship is. This is what it means to show up for someone you care about. But here's the part that really matters, because I'm not just any guest at this wedding. I keep certain eating standards for religious reasons. It's not just a preference, it's a way of life, one that I take seriously and that my family takes seriously too. Months ago, Sarah assured me it would be accommodated. I remember the conversation clearly. "Of course, Emily," she said, laughing like I'd worried over nothing. "Don't even stress about it. We'll make sure you have a proper meal. You're one of my bridesmaids. I'd never leave you out like that." I believed her. But yesterday, just a month before the wedding, I got the text. "Hey girl," it started. So I looked into the special meal thing, and it's literally double the price of a regular plate. I can't justify the cost, especially with everything else adding up. So instead, I'll have a fruit plate made for you. Hope that's okay. A fruit plate at a $150,000 wedding. I just stared at my phone, reading the message over and over. I thought about the $1,500 I'd spent on her bachelorette. I thought about the shower gift, the dress, the shoes, the makeup. I thought about the promises she made. And suddenly, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I showed my mom the text because I didn't even know how to process it. She was furious. "Emily," she said, "that is not how friends treat each other. After everything you've done for her, she can't even make sure you have a decent meal at her wedding?" And she has the audacity to send that in a text a month before? Absolutely not. She said the wedding is costing $150,000. I reminded her weakly. My mom snorted. Then she can afford a plate of food for you. Don't let her guilt you. Give her $25 in a card and walk away from this friendship. She doesn't value you, Emily. Not the way you value her. I wanted to argue. I wanted to defend Sarah, to say maybe she just didn't realize how hurtful this was. But deep down, I knew my mom was right. Still, I tried to rationalize it. Maybe the costs really had spiraled out of control. Maybe she was stressed. Maybe she didn't mean to be dismissive. But the truth was, it wasn't about the money. It was about the principle. I'd shown up for her in every way I could. I'd sacrificed financially, emotionally, and mentally. And in return, she couldn't even ensure I had a meal I could eat. When I confronted her about it, I tried to keep my voice calm. Sarah, I said, I'm honestly hurt. You told me months ago I'd be accommodated, and now you're telling me I'll have a fruit plate while everyone else has a full meal. She sighed like I was being difficult. Emily, you don't get it. The costs are insane. We're already way over budget. I can't just throw money at everything. I stared at her in disbelief. Sarah, this wedding is costing more than most people's houses. I'm not asking for the moon. I just want to eat something besides fruit on your wedding day. Her face hardened. Well, I can't change it now. You'll survive one night without a big meal. The words cut deeper than I expected. You'll survive. That was her response after 2 years of friendship, after everything I'd done for her. That night, I lay awake replaying everything in my head. I thought about the late-night phone calls where I comforted her through breakdowns. I thought about the endless financial sacrifices. I thought about the way I'd put her needs above mine time and time again. And for what? To sit at her wedding, watching everyone else eat, while I poke at a plate of fruit like an afterthought. I wish I could tell you I made a clean decision that night, that I knew exactly what to do. But the truth is, I was torn. Part of me wanted to walk away entirely, to send the $25 my mom suggested and be done with it. Part of me wanted to cling to the friendship, to hope she'd realize how much she'd hurt me and apologize. But a larger part of me knew, deep down, that this wasn't just about the food. This was about seeing clearly, maybe for the first time, exactly where I stood in Sarah's world. And that clarity hurt more than anything else. I remember waking up the next morning after her message, staring at my phone, and wondering if I had really read it correctly. The text was short, blunt, and almost dismissive. Hey, so it turns out your meal accommodation is too expensive. We'll just give you a fruit plate instead. I sat there in bed, blinking at the words, and felt this strange mix of anger and confusion. Fruit plate? After everything I had done, after thousands of dollars, after bending my schedule, after reshaping my life for months to fit into this wedding. My needs were being reduced to fruit. It felt humiliating. I thought about my mom's voice the night before. She had been pacing in the kitchen, clearly angrier than I was willing to let myself be. Do you hear yourself? She said. You spent over $1,000 on her bachelorette. You paid for makeup, dresses, gifts, heels, hotel rooms, everything. And now she can't even give you a proper meal? At a wedding that's costing $150,000. I shrugged at the time, trying to keep calm. Maybe it's not her fault. Maybe the venue is strict. Maybe she really can't. But my mom wasn't having it. No, she could if she wanted to. She just doesn't care. That sentence stayed with me, echoing in my head all night. She just doesn't care. By morning, I felt like maybe my mom was right. I grabbed my phone and opened our group chat, the one with all the bridesmaids. I scrolled through the endless stream of messages about shoes, nail polish shades, travel itineraries, and don't forget this payment by Friday. I typed out a draft. Hey, just wanted to say I'm feeling a little hurt about the fruit plate situation. I stared at it. My finger hovered over the send button. Then I deleted it, because I knew what would happen. They would say I was being dramatic. They would remind me how important the bride's big day was. They would tell me to just smile and go along with it. And maybe they'd be right. But deep down, I was already tired of being the one who always swallowed my feelings for the sake of keeping the peace. Later that afternoon, I met up with one of the other bridesmaids for coffee. She had been one of the few who complained quietly during the bachelorette trip. I trusted her enough to vent a little. So, I began carefully, stirring my latte. "Did you hear about the whole meal thing?" She raised an eyebrow. "You mean the fruit plate?" I nodded. She leaned back in her chair, exhaling slowly. "Yeah, I heard. Honestly, it's messed up, especially after everything you've done." Hearing someone else say it out loud gave me this rush of relief. I wasn't crazy. "Exactly," I said. "It's not even about the money. It's about the principle. I can't even eat the regular food at the wedding. I have standards because of my religion, and she told me months ago it would be accommodated. Why wait until now to back out?" My friend tilted her head thoughtfully. "Because she doesn't see you as a priority. She sees you as replaceable." That stung. "Replaceable," I repeated. She shrugged. "I mean, think about it. She got all of us to pay for her trip. She didn't even thank us properly. And now, when it comes to something important for you, she can't be bothered. It's like, she'll take from people all day, but when it's time to give back, suddenly it's too much." I didn't want to admit it, but deep down I knew she was right. That night, I got another text from my mom. "Have you decided what you're going to do?" she asked. I sat on my bed, staring at my half-packed bridesmaid dress bag, and typed back slowly, "I don't know. I can't just back out now. But I also can't just smile through it like nothing's wrong." My mom called me immediately. "You don't have to smile through anything. If she really was your friend, she would treat you better." I closed my eyes, rubbing my temples. "But if I say anything, I'll look selfish. Everyone will say I'm making her wedding about me." "Sweetheart," my mom said gently, "it's not selfish to want respect. You've bent over backwards for her. What has she done for you in return?" That was the question that haunted me. The days ticked by. Every time I saw another picture of her wedding prep on Instagram, every time I saw her glowing in her designer dress fittings, every time I saw the extravagant centerpieces and the gourmet menu she bragged about, the bitterness grew. It wasn't about the money anymore. It wasn't even about the meal. It was about the realization that this friendship had always been one-sided. And yet, I still felt chained to her, because I was her bridesmaid, because the wedding was weeks away, because I didn't want to be the villain in the story she would tell everyone else. The turning point came when she called me one evening, out of the blue. "Hey," she said cheerfully, "can you come early the morning of the wedding? Like, super early? I need someone to help me steam the dresses and handle some last-minute stuff." I swallowed my frustration. "Yeah, I guess. What time? Like 6 a.m.? She chirped. "It's going to be a long day, but bridesmaids' duties." I forced a laugh. "Of course." When we hung up, I just sat there in silence. She had no idea how much she was asking of me. She had no idea how much I was already holding back. I looked at the wedding invitation pinned on my fridge. The gold lettering, the expensive cardstock, the little ribbon tied around it. It all looked so glamorous from the outside. But inside, I knew the truth. The bride I thought was my friend didn't actually value me. And the wedding wasn't even here yet. The storm was still coming. And when it hit, I wasn't sure if our friendship would survive it. The morning of the wedding came faster than I expected. My alarm went off at 5 a.m., and I lay there staring at the ceiling, my stomach already twisted in knots. I thought about all the months leading up to this day. The money, the bachelorette, the gifts, the endless obligations. And now here I was, about to give even more of myself for someone who couldn't even be bothered to feed me a proper meal. Still, I got up, because that's what I always did. I showed up. When I arrived at the bridal suite, the chaos was already in full swing. Dresses were draped over chairs, curling irons hissed on countertops, and the air smelled of hairspray and perfume. The bride stood in the center of it all, glowing, laughing, sipping champagne as if she had been born for this moment. "Oh my God, you're here!" she squealed when she saw me. "Can you grab the steamer? These dresses are wrinkled and I'm freaking out." I forced a smile, set my bag down, and got to work. As I stood there steaming layer after layer of chiffon, sweat dripping down my back, I kept asking myself, why am I doing this? Why am I still here? The answer, of course, was because I didn't want to ruin her day. Hours later, after the whirlwind of makeup and hair, we all piled into the shuttle to head to the venue. The bride sat at the front, surrounded by photographers, basking in her own spotlight. I sat quietly near the back, clutching my small clutch bag, feeling invisible. When we arrived, the venue was breathtaking. White roses lined the aisle. Golden chandeliers sparkled from the ceiling. The smell of gourmet food drifted through the air, and I felt a pang of bitterness again, knowing none of it was for me. The ceremony went smoothly, almost too perfectly. She looked like a princess. Her groom looked proud, and everyone in the audience seemed enchanted by the spectacle of it all. But my mind kept wandering to what was coming later. The reception. The moment when everyone else would be feasting on a luxurious meal, and I would be sitting there with my little fruit plate. When the ceremony ended, we flowed into the reception hall. The tables were immaculate, fine china, sparkling glasses, towering floral centerpieces. I found my seat and sat down, my nerves buzzing. The first course was served, delicate plates of appetizers. Everyone's plates looked like art. Mine? A tiny bowl of grapes, melon, and strawberries. I swallowed hard, cheeks burning with embarrassment. The bridesmaid next to me glanced over and whispered, "That's all they gave you?" I forced a laugh. "Yeah, I guess fruit is my dinner tonight." She frowned. "That's not okay." But I just shrugged, pretending it didn't matter. Inside, though, it mattered more than anything. It wasn't about the food, it was about respect. Course after course came out. Plates of steak, chicken, and fish. Decadent sides. Desserts that looked like they belonged in a magazine. And me? More fruit. By the time the groom stood up to make a toast, my chest felt tight with anger. He raised his glass and said, "We are so blessed to have friends and family who have done so much for us. We couldn't have done it without you." Everyone clapped. I sat there, staring at my untouched fruit plate, and thought, you couldn't have done it without us? Then why do I feel like I don't matter at all? After the toast, the bride made her way over to my table. She looked radiant, glowing with happiness. "Are you having fun?" she asked brightly. I hesitated, then forced myself to nod. "Yeah, it's beautiful." She glanced at my plate and giggled. "Oh my God, they actually gave you fruit. Isn't that hilarious?" Something inside me snapped. "Hilarious," I repeated, my voice sharper than I intended. She blinked, caught off guard. "I mean, at least they gave you something." I set my fork down, my hands trembling. "Do you even realize how humiliating this is? I've spent thousands of dollars for you. I've been there for every single thing. And you couldn't even give me one real meal." Her smile faltered. "Whoa, where is this coming from? This is my wedding day. Can we not do this right now?" I shook my head, tears pricking my eyes. "No, because I've been swallowing my feelings for months. I've done everything you asked without a single complaint. And the one thing I needed, the one thing that actually mattered to me, you brushed it off like it was nothing." The table went silent. Other bridesmaids looked away awkwardly. Guests pretended not to eavesdrop, but I could feel the weight of their stares. The bride's face hardened. "You're making a scene." I laughed bitterly. "Yeah, well, maybe a scene needed to be made." I pushed back my chair, stood up, and walked out of the reception hall. Outside, the cool night air hit me like a slap. My heart was pounding, my hands shaking, but for the first time in months, I felt free. A few minutes later, one of the bridesmaids rushed out after me. "Hey," she said gently, "are you okay?" I wiped my eyes, trying to compose myself. "No, but I think I will be. Eventually." She hesitated, then added, "You're not wrong, Everyone saw it. Everyone noticed how she treated you. You just had the guts to say it." I exhaled slowly, the weight of months lifting off my chest. In that moment, I realized something important. Friendships aren't supposed to feel like transactions. They aren't supposed to drain you, belittle you, or make you feel invisible. They're supposed to be built on respect, reciprocity, and care. And as much as it hurt to admit it, the bride had never really been my friend. When I got home that night, I peeled off my dress, sat on my bed, and stared at the wilted corsage still pinned to it. I thought about everything I had given her. All the money, the time, the energy. And I thought about what I had gotten in return. A fruit plate and a reminder that I deserved better. My mom was waiting up when I walked in the door. She took one look at my face and opened her arms. I collapsed into her hug, finally letting the tears spill. "I think I'm done," I whispered. She stroked my hair softly. "You did more than anyone should have been expected to, and now you can walk away knowing you gave it your all. That's all you can do." For the first time in months, I felt at peace. I wasn't going to chase her approval anymore. I wasn't going to beg for respect. I wasn't going to keep pouring myself into a friendship that had nothing waiting for me at the bottom. The wedding was over, and so was the friendship.